The message ceased and waned the messenger. This is a line which brings the central issue of Savitri's mortal birth into full focus. Why Savitri must take birth here? What is it that had happened earlier and it didn't succeed? What are the problems? It is in that context this line becomes significant. The message ceased and waned the messenger. He comes with a message from the divine skies, delivers the message and withdraws. The glory which is natural to the higher skies could not stay here for too long. Well, what is the problem? What is the issue? What are the difficulties that the stage has reached to this point, that things are developed to this extent? Well, actually, Shri Savitri opens with a kind of a temple scene. The description of temple and the atmosphere of the temple is pervasive here in the opening canto of Savitri. Although periodically it does recur in number of places in the body of the epic. Savitri opens with the temple scene. It was the hour before the gods awake. According to the tradition, the gods awake at 4 o'clock in the morning in the temple, when the doors of the temple are thrown open. Now, what was happening during that hour before the gods awake is what is described in the opening passage of Savitri. It was the hour before the gods awake. Across the path of the divine event, the huge opening mind of night, alone in her unlit temple of eternity, lay stretched immobile upon silence march. Unlit temple of eternity. It begins with that description. Later on, we see that the eye of the deity from above pierces into the dumb deeps here, the deeps which are not responsive to the spiritual light. The eye of the deity pierces to the dumb deep. The revelation is there. There is a flame also, the revelation and the flame as a result of that. These are again aspects of temple events. And then you have got on the walls of the temple hieroglyphs which are not decipherable. The sense of it cannot be read out. Hieroglyphs of mystic sense. What is there behind the night? What is happening? What is going to happen? All those things written in characters which we cannot decipher, and yet there has to be the Epiphany. There has to be the divine manifestation, the divine appearance here in this creation. So all this whole physiology is in one way or the other connected with the temple atmosphere. Actually, the Epiphany was about to be disclosed. The omniscient goddess, she leans down from above, looks into the problem of the earth. There is a sudden change, there is a kind of a response from the earth, and there is a consecration and a rite. A worship is offered to the omniscient goddess. A worship is offered to the omniscient goddess. The winds, the priestly winds are there, they are chanting hymns. The mountains are offering their prayers, and the whole atmosphere is the atmosphere of invocation to the Supreme Goddess. There is a hymn of great priestly wind chanting in musical notes the things the earth's heart desires to be here. And then the hills, they are the altar hills, always the fire is burning and the flame is rising upward to the sky. Under that condition, the Divine Afflatus, the divine message comes down, and a sort of a worship is offered to the presence and the power, the being and the force. To both of them, to Ishvara and Ishwari, prayer is offered constantly, a worship to the presence and power. And then the deity, in her greatness, casts a seed of grandeur in the soil of the earth, casts a seed of grandeur in the soil of the earth, but that does not flower yet, that does not sprout branches, it does not grow at all here. The spark of deity is there, but it cannot illuminate the darkness, the night of darkness which is there around. Therefore, the divine message which came here, it ceases and withdraws. The message ceased and waned. The messenger, the omniscient goddess, she brought the message and she withdraws. The single call, the uncompanioned power, the call to rise from above, the power which came down here, drew back, went back to her own world. She looked no more on mortality. Mortality lingered, stayed as mortality was earlier. The embodied guest made no sign of that. She received that thing, but nothing happens in that process. So when nothing happens, it is under these circumstances, it became necessary, it became absolutely essential for the omniscient goddess herself to take a mortal birth. Things cannot happen from above, she must come down here and take mortal birth upon the earth itself. And it is from below that she must work out things for the flowering of this creation into the divine nature. It is that call, it is that message which became necessary, and it is that message which made the mortal birth of the Divine Goddess essential. It is the mortal birth of the Divine Savitri. Savitri comes here and takes the human birth. The immortal accepts now the mortal's lot. Unless the immortal comes here and accepts the conditions of mortality, things cannot happen here. So the Divine Goddess, the Omniscient Goddess, comes down here in the human form. Accepting mortality, she comes down as Savitri. And as things move immobile, she gathers the force of the Omniscient Goddess herself in her soul. The human Savitri establishes the power, the Shakti of the Omniscient Goddess in her soul, and it is with that force, with that Shakti, she has removed the obstacle which was standing across the path of the divine event. It is that work which Savitri has to do. Savitri comes here to establish love by eliminating death, who is standing across the path of love's manifestation in this creation. Savitri is a perfect shrine for the God of love. Again, the temple image is there. She is a shrine for the God of love. Savitri, human Savitri, can house in her being, in her soul, in her body, Divine's love himself here. Therefore, the immortal has taken the immortal's lot. This happened because the Omniscient Goddess's message has ceased and waned. The message ceased and waned. The messenger